All right, how's everybody doing? I'm back at another Tuesday night. I'll tell you, Tuesday comes awfully fast every week. I don't know why that is for me, but it just seems like Tuesday was yesterday. I don't know why, but Tuesdays seem to come like really quick. I look forward to it. It's always a lot of fun being able to do these for an hour, hour and a half, whatever it may be. But yeah, it's so anyway. So tonight was again just kind of a little fun thing I wanted to put together, and it's just to help introduce, other channels that maybe you didn't know about. I think mostly everybody knows all of these guys, but in the event that you don't, or anybody watching the replay afterwards, I think it's something that I like to do to get people involved and have a good time and just really introduce, other good channels that are creating really good content to all of you guys in the event that you didn't know anything about them, and then we'll just have a good time, really tonight. But before I get going, hopefully everybody had a good 4th of July weekend. I'll tell you, they fly right by when you're working and you think you've got a few days off. Before you know it, it's like, here we go again. Tuesday's back, and at least I have this to look forward to on a Tuesday night. Normally, if I didn't have this, I don't know what in the world I would be doing tonight. But anyway, so enough of that. So everybody, thanks for joining tonight. I'm happy we were able to put this together. It was really kind of quick. I mean, it's been over the course of the last week. And then with Josh and Aaron last night, I was like, hey, you guys want to come on tomorrow? And they're like, yeah, no, baby, okay. So anyway, it worked out, and this is the best part of this. It's a way for all of us to get to meet. We see each other on our reviews and all of these things, but it's important to just have a good time, share the whiskey love, whiskey too, whatever you want to call it, and just have a good time with it. So with that being said, who wants to lead off and go first and just tell everybody a little bit about your channel, then we'll get into doing some drinking. How's that sound?
Well, I'm a gentleman, so I always heard ladies go first. So
there you go.
After whiskey, they got to kick it off.
Yeah, there you go. Josh.
We're hoping to go last.
No, Josh, go ahead. Ladies first, Josh. Go ahead.
That was a checkmate right there by the bourbon.
First, Josh. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
ladies first, Josh.
Already starting off with the burns.
Yeah.
All right, what are we doing again? I was hoping somebody else was gonna go.
whatever you want. So here's kind of why I wanted to do this. So it's really one of those things where, I know a lot of people that are in here or maybe watching the replay afterwards may know who you are or whatever. But, if for some reason they don't, what you guys do, a little bit about your channel, like the hows and the whys, what it is that you guys do with your channel.
Go for it.
All right, so welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Aaron. I didn't know we were doing that.
Yeah.
And
Take two.
bringing real world content to the real world whiskey consumer. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not experts. We're not pros. We were just talking about this before the stream started, and I'm gonna sell Erin out a little bit here, where she was like, "I'm just nervous to talk to a whole bunch of people about whiskey, and I don't know that much about whiskey."
It's true.
Even though we've both been drinking whiskey for like 15 plus years, probably.
Not that long for me, but
not totally. I'm more of the nerd, and for her, it's more like whiskey is the kind of the glue that we share. That's a weird thing to say. It's kind of like the thing that we share with people that we care about.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and it's like, yeah, that's what we like to do, and that's a reason why we shoot here in our kitchen in our home, kind of the heart of our home here, because we want it to feel like you're just sitting down on the other side of the bar having a chat with us about whatever it is we're drinking.
Yeah.
And so
we kind of take a no nonsense approach because neither of us claim to really know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
He likes to nerd out. I just like to enjoy. So we just kind of take things from that approach, which is kind of fun to watch sometimes.
Yeah. And we like to really focus in on neither of us love bourbon hunting or whiskey hunting in general, or paying a lot of money for it. Like, we'd rather pay less to get more if we could. So when we do happen to get our hands on something that's allocated, you know, we like to put it up against things that are more readily available or things that are somewhat comparable, but maybe you could, you know, get for cheaper or something like that. And to really test it, to put it through its mettle. So we really enjoy blind tastings. And that's more of my driver of the channel, the Thursday episodes where we do double blind head-to-heads where we don't know what we're drinking at all. And then kind of the Saturday episodes where we just kind of hang out and shoot the breeze together. Those are a little bit more Aaron-driven.
Well, those are fun. I mean, I think what you guys do with your channel is, you know, starting out with kind of like, you know, how I did originally. Like I wanted to get my wife involved, but she wanted nothing to do with being like on this side of the camera. And she was just kind of getting into it. And she says, you know, to me, like, what do you want me to do? Like sit there and like hum and haw and like, I won't know what to say. And I said, you know, it's really more, it's more than just like that. It's being able to just, you know, share whatever it is that you want to say at the time. I mean, it's really kind of doing something together. And, you know, I'm always a little jealous when I see the husbands and wives or boyfriends and girlfriends doing things. Just, I mean, it's a great idea, and it just gives you guys kind of another outlet for being able to, you know, just kind of share something that you guys both enjoy together. So, you know, it's kind of cool. And, you know, here's one too. I mean, like Kira and Dave. I mean, they do a great job. I mean, it's their approach obviously is a little bit different, but I mean, they like to have fun. I mean, that's just what they do. And I love that about what couples will do, is just kind of do some different things. But like you said, you guys take a little bit more of the no nonsense approach and just, you know, kind of keep it to, you know, what it is your lane, you know, your comfort, you know, level. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So I'm glad you guys decided to come on tonight and just kind of share a little bit about, you know, what it is you guys do and all of that. So thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you
Absolutely.
for having
Thank you
us.
for
on.
having us.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I guess I nominated him, so I'll go next.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll just say, you know, first and foremost, Scott, you're right. I'm definitely jealous, right? I mean, it's stuff in whiskey because it's pretty cool to have that whole couple aspect. I tried to get my wife into it, and she was like, I'm all behind the scenes. She was like, you'll see comments from Mrs. Judge, and I give her all the credit. She does all the work for me in terms of like all the thumbnails and everything else with Instagram. I literally just buy bourbon and sip bourbon. So, but no, for me, in terms of my channel, so, you know, I got my start with just, you know, a lot of times, you know, you go into like liquor stores, you're like, okay, hey, I love bourbon, but what the hell does bottle and bond mean? What is small batch? What's barrel proof? Like, what are all these different titles, different price points? And you're like, okay, I see one that's like $100, one that's 50, is one marked up, and you're sitting there, you're like, oh, I have really no clue, right? And you can try to trust like the people within the liquor store to give you the honest feedback, but you don't know if they just want you to buy something at the highest price. So I was like, you know what? I've watched a lot of different channels like yours, Scott, and a lot of other channels. I was like, you know, maybe I should do my own channel, kind of give my own perspective, just straight up honest review. And I got the whole bourbon judge thing because I always wanted to become a lawyer as a kid. Never went down that route of, you know, the whole lawyer judge kind of route, but always wanted to become an attorney. So kind of a fun twist on bourbon and the whole law or judge, if you will. So the whole courtroom aspect, but that's really me as a whole. And just, I think kind of like what Josh and Aaron said, just, you know, complete, honest, straight, fun reviews, and just to kind of give, you know, just good straight, you know, feedback on whether or not if you love it or if you don't like it. And my whole thing is either you love it and you want to pick it up or leave it on the shelf. It's kind of my little thing, if you will. So.
Well, you know, and that's the fun part of all of this. I mean, it's just kind of another extension of, you know, like, you know, each of our personalities and what it is that you want to do. And, you know, just like, you know, in the whiskey world, I mean, you're never wrong about whatever it is you say. I mean, again, it's all subjective as to what it is we're doing. I mean, we're just opinion based and take it for what it is. And, you know, we all get nasty comments and all these other things, and people want to be right and wrong. And that's fine if people want to, you know, take that approach. But, you know, it's never been my approach. If you like something, great. If you don't, so be it. Or if you don't like me, I mean, whatever, find someone that you match with your palate, or you like their personalities, or whatever it may be. We're a bit entertainment driven. So if that's what you like in terms of what it is that each of us do, then great. I mean, that's really all you can ask for. But the thing I've always said is, I mean, at least have fun doing it. If you're having fun, that's the most important part. When it becomes like another job and you're like, shit, I got to record stuff today. And trust me, we've probably all been there. We're like, you don't want to do it, or, Josh has a bad hair day, whatever it may be. It's like,
Josh never has a bad hair day.
You had these days. You have those days where you don't want to do it, but at the end of the day, you realize, yeah, I'm really having a lot of fun with it. So
true.
Anyway.
Well said. Well said.
Straight up Bourbon. What do you got for us, baby?
All right. I'm Luke. JP's normally with me, but he's running late as usual. So we started a channel as the end of September of last year, and we had kind of just been into bourbon, but not like seriously into bourbon. I mean, we had the collections, but like as far as like sitting it down and picking it apart. And then once we started really doing that, JP actually sent me some YouTube review stuff, and I thought, well, that looks pretty cool, and we do this anyway. Might as well make a little fun project out of it, and I don't know, put it out there and see what people think. And I mean, so far it's been a really cool experience, and I'm having a really good time with it. I didn't expect the community to be what it is. That was also really cool and exciting, and like to be able to do this is just really impressive, I think. And then being where we are, I think we're a little bit spoiled, so we get to pick up some of the maybe harder to find stuff from the distilleries, and I think that's fun to like maybe bring those to people that wouldn't get a chance to know about them.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are in a nice little area for being able to get to Kentucky, or maybe even some, I don't know what your area is like for like allocation and all of that, but you guys are you're in a good area for at least being able to get to Kentucky quickly if there's things going on or whatever it may be. So, but let me go back to Josh and Aaron. So when you guys got into your channel, like, or it kind of started with all of that, how did you kind of decide on like what your lane, what your roles kind of were going to be? Because I mean, it always looks like you guys are at least having fun with things, and you keep it light and all of that, and that's fun. I mean, that's the good part of it, that you're serious but not serious and still having fun at the same time. So how did you? I mean, I'm guessing that your personalities are kind of what it is that's coming out, but like what were your lanes? Like what was your approach and how you wanted to kind of do things?
So this can actually go back quite a ways, and we'll give you the Cliff Notes version. But when we first started dating, Aaron had a friend who was doing some blog work for stuff that was popping up here in Nashville, Tennessee, and had us go and cover a sake company that was opening up. And so we're both photographers. I was on and off professional for 2 decades. Aaron was
I dabbled for a while.
She dabbled. And that's kind of how our paths crossed. We started dating, and we went and did the sake company opening, and we did photos just on our phones for her friend's her blog, and we had so much fun. And that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we've just been like, what creative project could we work on together?
Yeah, we've been wanting to do something.
And like, we'll sit around and just like sip whiskey and talk about what in the world we're going to work on together. And then finally we were like, I was consuming a lot of Whiskey Tube content, and I would see funny stuff or things would happen, and I would show Erin. So she kind of knew who some of the players were. And we didn't actually come on YouTube so much to give whiskey reviews necessarily as we did. We just love the community. I see the support on all the live streams. I see people being encouraging, and like even in the last year or so, we've kind of both pretty much unplugged from social media. And it's just such a negative space sometimes, and we really enjoy the positivity that we see in the whiskey community. And so, we're like, okay, we can put our time and effort and our energy into doing this. And the groundwork for the channel started getting laid back at the beginning of January, end of last year into early this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we recorded some videos. We're photographer background. So we branded the whole thing, before we ever even hit the record button.
We like to go big.
And so we started shooting videos in March, and we probably shot a month and a half worth of content.
And it was all in 4 days. It was a lot of ranking.
It was a lot.
Wow.
It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I almost burned out that first weekend.
Yeah. And then I do the editing. And so I went back and started watching it, and I was like, this is not us. And, we're not big, super tasting notes. We're maybe more experiential, rather than specific. And it just didn't really feel like us. And then we just kind of realized we just have to have fun. We just have to be us, be ourselves. And, in large part, seeing all the other Whiskey Tube channels do that. And Kira Collins had commented in there, her and David are huge inspirations. They do their thing. They are unapologetically themselves.
Yep.
And we love that. And Matt at ADHD Whiskey, unapologetically himself. Scott, you, Bourbon Judge, Straight Up Bourbon, everybody who's doing it and doing it well, they're just being themselves. And so, we could, I guess, pulled the plug after that first month of recording.
We could have, but that being said, we had a really good time filming because we were hanging out with each other. It was really fun. So even though it didn't translate on camera the way we had wanted it to, once we got over that initial, we're supposed to do this, and we just started being ourselves, it the fun grew exponentially.
So, and all that filming was not for naught, because the in-between filmings, we cut that up and made a blooper reel and released that as our first video ever.
Yeah.
And that's where we realized we just have to be us. We just have to have fun.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really deciding. It was just more hit the record button and be ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing when you get on the other side of the camera and that little red light is going, and now you have to quote unquote perform or do whatever it is you do. It's tough. And that's one thing for me. I've always struggled with it. Cause outside of whiskey, there's a lot of people who do know me. I'm a huge smart ass. I'm a pardon my French, but I'm a ball buster. I like to have fun and a good time and just keep things loose and light and all of that. And sometimes I've learned it does, some people don't get it and they're like, well, this guy's an a-hole, but it's never meant to be that. So I never want it to come across as that, but I still like to have fun. But my reviews, and people will say oh my God, I would never really know because they're very little robotic. I get that. It's a little bit more kind of, I don't want to say business-like, but it's just how I like to set up my mind. It just keeps me how I need to do it. And I get it. And that's why I like to watch some of the fun people do it. Cause I'm like, son of a bitch. I just want to do fun stuff with if I had a wingman or somebody, but my non-wingman doesn't really agree or laugh at my jokes or anything like that. So it makes it a little bit difficult, but it is doing things solo and Marcus, he can attest to it. But again, Luke, when you guys have another person to work off of, it takes away any kind of dead air and dead time, whatever it may be. But anyway, the main part is I'm glad you guys are having fun, and it looks like you're having fun. So if that's your intention, it's definitely translating over to this side. So
that's really good to hear.
Good to know,
I would, something you said in there, I'd like to do the little reading rainbow thing, the more you know right now. Because us being so young to the Whiskey Tube space, you as a viewer watch all this content happen and you don't know what goes on behind the scenes to make it happen. And Scott, for a channel that's as established as your channel is, that doesn't happen by accident. It takes a ton of work. We're both photographers, and thank goodness we have a friend that is a videographer that helped us learn the video side of the equation.
Yeah.
And we're getting better with it and with the editing and things like that. But it is a ton of work, and to sustain it for any length of time, like, my hat's off to you guys. I don't wear a hat because it would mess up this hair, but if I were wearing a hat, I would take it off and tip it to you guys. And Bourbon Judge, you've been at it for a while too, man. And Lance is going to come on here in a little bit. He's been at it. All these channels that we watch for enjoyment, you know, there are people that can sit on the sidelines and criticize or you know, make rude comments and things like that. And not like the ball busting kind, but just like flat out.
Yeah.
They just don't get it, how much work goes into it. And, you know, we are enjoying that process. You know, check with us in a year and see. But, you know, it is a lot of work. And I just, you know, I have to raise my glass to you guys that have been doing it for a while, because it is commendable what you put out for other people to enjoy.
Well, I mean, I think we all appreciate it. I mean, it's one of those things, like I say, like when I started this whole thing, like basically it was kind of like late 2016 when I started thinking about like anything remotely. And then I got into 2017. And for me, it was going to be purely a video diary. And I had no plans on doing, you know, like whiskey reviews or any of that. And then it was just like early on was a deer in headlights. I mean, I had no idea. But again, there weren't a lot of other people doing it. And the production value that a lot of guys have now, you know, like Jason and all of, you know, these guys that have, you know, great video editing skills and all of these things. I mean, they've really kind of stepped up the whole like whiskey tube community. And I think it's forced a lot of people that if you're going to do this, you know, you can't just like sit on a toilet and do a whiskey review and just kind of like work your way through this thing. Like,
that's an angle though.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I know like, you know, like bubble bath bourbon. I know there's like those guys that have their own lane, but nowadays, like for you guys, you know, when you come out like firing, like Aaron said, like we want to go big right away. A lot of it has to do with what's out there and why you want to go big, because without that, you would never think like, I mean, we may as well just roll up to our kitchen table and, you know, the light shining in our face. I mean, it could have gone a million different ways, but there's so many good people out there nowadays that have just kind of, I think, you know, showed a lot of people like maybe what it is you kind of need to do. And I wish I would have had that, but anyway, so
true. Aaron, you made a really good point though. It's so much work that goes into it, right? I mean, you really don't recognize it until, because you know, you see like Scott, you see like Jason, you know, you see all these different, you know, people that does like such like great content, and then until you start doing it yourself, as you mentioned, it's like, oh my gosh, this is really a lot of work, you know. Like, I mean, I look back, you know, even like for me, like I think it was like my 50th or 60th like episode, I was like, all right, I need to scratch this. Need a different studio, so then I changed that studio, and I was like, okay, making some progress. I'm like, and then, you know, people kept saying, oh, you know, this is great, and it's kind of going back and forth with my wife, and she was like, I hate this background. I'm like, okay, so now I guess I need to change it again. So then we changed to what I have here, and it's like, it's just constant. To your point, Scott, constantly updating, and you know, like cameras and lights and just, you know, so much just goes into it. So it's it definitely is, you know, you respect everybody, you know, everyone on the channel, the Straight Up Bourbon, you know, Stuff and Whiskey, and obviously of course you as well, you know, Scott. And it's like it's just, you know, it's a huge respect. But the cool thing about it though is that everyone in the Whiskey Tube community is just such good people, always helping each other, and which is really cool. So again, thanks, you know, for having us on today. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I mean, this was my thing. Like, I mean, from early on, once I figured out like what I was kind of doing, like I always knew that no matter what it was, that I always, again, wanted to have fun. And by having, you know, other people on to have fun and just, you know, share those experiences and just, you know, other people have a good time with it. It's just something that I like to do. Not that I have to do it. I enjoy doing these kinds of things, and it's just the way it is. So you guys are stuck with me for the next 26 minutes. So 36 minutes. Bad math. All right. So we're talking about Wingman. Finally, the Wingman. You know, So like Josh and Aaron, like they have theirs. So when you guys got together, what made you decide, hey, let's do this. Let's have fun. Let's do some recording. And more importantly, how do you guys decide on what days or nights you're going to do a recording? Because that's another challenging thing. Like as Batman and Robin, you have to figure out recording schedules, because if there's a significant other, we know that doesn't always go the way we want it to go. So.
Right. Yeah. We got a set day every week. We just do the same day, and we'll just pick out in advance. Hey, we'll do this bottle. Sometimes we'll do 2 or 3 that night, kind of get them through just to have stuff for the backlog. And then if something new comes out and we manage to get our hands on it, we'll bump that up to the front of the line.
All right. And that's the important thing. So I've always said, like, a lot of times when I do mine, usually it's like 1 day a week. And there are times when I'll do 4, maybe 5. Now, again, with that being said, like a lot of us, like, I mean, we've all done a lot of note taking or whatever it may be, like for my end, because it's a little bit more, straight across the board in terms of what it is. But even when you're kind of like, sipping on some things, those little things catch up. So by the time you get to that 4th or 5th review, you're like, I'm not even really sure about what the name of my whiskey channel is. There are times when I had to stop because I forgot what the hell I was even doing or saying or whatever it may be. So
we shot a few. Yeah.
I can't do more than 3.
You guys know. So like, you get to that 4th one and you're like, I don't even know my name, let alone what whiskey. So, but it's we all know, like, budgeting that amount of time, to do it, it's a lot of time to do it, and doing one at a time. I don't know how in the world anybody does one at a time. I could never do it. Just
true.
Yeah. Anyway, but
yeah,
so here's the other part. So in addition to the channels and all that, I'm always interested to hear like what people are sipping on, what you're enjoying, and why. And maybe the flip side is, what's something that didn't kind of quite, hit where you thought it may have been, and you were a little bit disappointed. So don't everybody jump in at one time. Okay?
Let's go.
Scott, I think I'm drinking what you're drinking, Scott.
Okay. Oh, that's cheating. Yeah.
I think yours is going to
be. It was like, to Josh's point, it was one of those things. This was the first time, like in the last month, it was the first time I had this. I saw it and I grabbed it, and I'll tell you what, I was pleasantly surprised as to what the overall profile of this thing was. And I tried to go back a few days later to get another one, all gone. It was a bad, kind of a rookie mistake on my part. Anyway.
So kind of speaking to the point of the Maker's 46 cask strength, you had mentioned grab some bottles that maybe have impressed you, and been into bourbon for a really, really long time. I was into it back in college in the early 2000s, and it was always like, I wouldn't ever drink scotch or anything like that, because to get a decent bottle, you'd have to spend $60 or more, but you could get a good bottle of bourbon for $15 or $20. And I went to college in Bowling Green for a while. So like, I'm in Kentucky enjoying all that. And as I kind of went down the road, it was always just available stuff on the shelf. And then once things started, like once my nerddom started ramping up, we have a friend that's a bourbon broker and works at a store here locally. And so he hooked us up with some things that are harder to get. And he's my friend. So like, I don't want to be that guy that's always going to my friend and asking him to always give me something that is allocated. Like, I have an issue asking for help, period. So that's a personal problem, and I'll deal with that with my therapist. But for me, like, I just didn't want to be that guy. So, he got us some Weller 107, he got us some Blanton's, he got us this, that, whatever else, some Midwinter's Night Dram that I just drank. Like, and I was like, okay, do I really like this stuff, or am I being influenced by the bottle? So that's, I started doing blind tastings. We started doing them. And I have yet in any blind tasting to pick any Weller product over what I would consider to be a comparable Makers product. So when you're talking about things that have impressed you, it's these Makers products, the 46 cask strength. This is a store pick, which goes toe to toe with FAE 01, but has a better finish. And then FAE 01, like these right here, I'm really, really blown away. This is not the Makers that I didn't really like all that much back in college. Like they have really changed the game in my mind. And I know not everybody loves their flavor profile, but as far as I'm concerned, like for a company that only made the one recipe for so long, and then for them to shift gears as heavily as they have, that to me, from like a business standpoint, is a little bit mind-boggling. But then for the stuff to actually come out and be this good, I'm psyched on Makers these days.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I think, and I've said this before, is that I think like when Makers kind of got out of their own way and realized that we can do things that are just a little bit more non-traditional, that when they started releasing some of these like LEs and the 46 and the cask strength, and their 46 was like them really getting outside the box, and then they released this, and then all of the R2D2 releases that they have. It's one of those things where like they could just stay in that lane and people would go like crazy about them. They could charge a lot more than they do, but that's one thing I really respect Makers, is that they've done something different and really done it well, and still maintain like a really nice kind of price point on their bourbons. So
and available.
It's easier to find too.
Yeah. The FAE and all the other numbers and stuff, they don't stick around here. When they do pop up, they're gone very quickly, and we don't really even see many of them, here in Wisconsin. But everybody who has them really raves about them. So they're definitely doing something right. It's nice to see Makers doing something a little bit different, and things that people really enjoy. So
yeah.
Bourbon.
I think so for me, it's like there's a lot of different things that you like and you love, but like kind of to your point, I think Josh is like, I go back all the time. I'm a huge fan of 1792, and a lot of people will ask me, "Oh, why? You have so much other different bourbons and so forth." Is because honestly, it's good juice. You can find it, and it's consistent, right? I mean, that's like three key things, right? And that's the cool thing about it, is that it's great juice, no matter if it's like the small batch, or today I just happened to grab the bottle and bond, but even like the full proof, right? I mean, which is not bad at 125 proof, a really solid bourbon day in, day out. And, so it's, it's one of the things that, even though there are, more like allocated bourbons out there and things are more expensive and so forth, which are all great. And I love that. But day in, day out, if I just wanted to have like a everyday, just great sipper, something I know I can count on, I know I can find it, especially like if I'm traveling to see family or see friends, I'm on the road or something like that, I can go into almost any store and find 1792, which is just awesome. So I'll always stick with my 1792. I'm a Barton guy for sure.
Well, and I think it's, I mean, honestly, as much as it can be, I mean, as much whiskey as they produce and now like, sell to other players, they're almost a bit like underrated or fly under the radar. Like you never hear a lot of talk about, the 1792 lineup, in general, and they've got several of them, but again, and to be honest, again, most of them at a really pretty friendly price point for the most part, which is good. They've got decent ages on their whiskeys, so you're not just getting 3, 4, 5-year-old juice. You're getting something that's a little bit older a lot of times. So I think it gets a little bit overlooked in terms of what it is they do. Now, here's what I will say about 1792. These guys that are able to source some of their old stuff, it's really where they're like starting to shine. I think people really truly understand that like their greatness is in some of their older bourbons. And I think Blue Run is a good example. Now, again, people go a little crazy about the $200 price point, but as a lot of us know now, I mean, the prices that a lot of people pay for bourbons, rye, whatever it may be, $200 isn't what $200 used to be. You're not even overly shocked when you hear about a $200 bottle of bourbon or whatever anymore. So again, like Blue Run, like they've been releasing some of these things. It's all source Barton, and it's great. I mean, it just has a whole other level of complexity that you don't see in the other 1792 stuff, because it never gets bottled under their own logo or their name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so true.
All right, Straight Up Bourbon, what do you guys got? Oh, we might have.
We've been drinking a lot of Peerless stuff lately, actually. I don't know. I know they have just like the standard small batch available most states, but the distillery does special single barrel releases. And if you're in Kentucky, you can actually order them online, and some of them are fantastic. They've got the bourbons and the ryes, but Caleb Kilburn over there, he's young, but he's killing it right now with the distilling.
Yeah. And then as far as something that's like available pretty much everywhere, I think I've been reaching for the Bullet barrel strength quite a bit lately. I did like just a personal blind of some stuff that's on, in that price range, and it really killed it. And so I've been picking up those when I see them. And for like 122 proof for $60 is, I think, a pretty good value.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, when you're starting to decide on what it is you're enjoying and why, understanding where a lot of these whiskeys are coming from and what they are, that's another big issue, is understanding a little bit more about where all that stuff is coming from. So it helps to know exactly, what it is you're going after and why. All right. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much. How are you?
Doing good, man.
What are you in a high school cafeteria or something, or what?
Yeah, we're in Louisville and a barrel pick. So
are you at Schlotsky's?
What's that?
Are you at Schlotsky's Deli?
No, we're in the hotel.
At the hotel. Well.
Yep. At the what is this? Fairfield. I think that's where you were at, Scott.
Yeah, are you in Bardstown? You must be in Bardstown, I'm guessing.
Yep. We just did Elijah Craig barrel proof pick today.
All right. Let me ask you
nice. Very cool. Very nice.
You guys did that pick. Did they give you more than 3 barrels to choose from?
We got 3 barrels, and all 3 were really, really good, we thought. I know you got a couple that you didn't think were that great.
No.
Yeah, all 3 of ours were pretty damn good.
Good.
Nice.
I mean, we narrowed it down to 2 pretty easy, but the top 2 I could have went either way. They were both delicious.
Yeah, good. All right, so while we've got you, and before the recess bell rings for you, why don't you let everybody just kind of tell everybody a little bit about your channel, in the event there's someone watching this now or on the replay, a little bit about your channel and kind of how you run yours.
Yeah, so I haven't heard what everybody said, but I started my channel a little over a year ago, and I don't think I'm doing anything super original or super crazy. I'm just giving my opinions as a, I used to weigh almost 300 pounds, and then lost a bunch of weight, got into fitness, and just started having a passion to help people with fitness, and lost like 75 pounds, was in Men's Fitness magazine, and kind of had a video on YouTube go viral for my weight loss transformation, and just really enjoyed helping people with fitness. And then the inner fat kid came out in me, and I started loving bourbon, and so now I'm just reviewing bourbon and helping people gain weight.
Well, it's funny, Lance. You said you didn't listen to what everyone else said, but I literally said the exact same thing, man. Copying my work.
I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
well, you do a good job. I'll say that. I mean, I think collectively everybody here has their own lane, and it's fun. But I mean, you do a really good job. You do a really good job with your reviews. That's for sure. So
Well, I appreciate that. I'm certainly no expert, and I appreciate people like you and Jason who have done this for a long time. It's really cool to have seen your channels grow over the years because, you know, just doing this a little over a year, I know how long it takes to edit some of these videos. On some videos, you know, I'm taking 12 hours to try to learn how to, you know, color correct and edit audio and do all the stuff nobody will probably really notice, but it's stuff I enjoy. It helps me kind of stretch my creative legs and then just, you know, just the fellowship with everybody in the bourbon community is what I absolutely love. Like, we've been on a barrel pick today, and I mean, I've laughed so hard today, my head hurts. So I'm sitting here with a headache right now. It's not because of the bourbon; it's because of how hard we've been laughing. So.
The bourbon.
Yeah, that's good. I keep wondering like who this Jason guy is. Everybody's mentioning.
He's all right.
Drawing a blank on this guy. But no, in the barrel pick experience, I mean it's second to none. I mean, I think once you do it once, like it's something that every bourbon nerd, enthusiast, whatever. I mean, it's something you've got to do in your lifetime. There's just something about whatever that process is that's just so much fun. I think it's just what the whiskey is like.
No, we picked the barrel. We got to pick the barrels. Awesome. I'm sorry, Scott. Am I cutting in and out?
Yeah, a little bit. Not too bad. Must have been the cafeteria pizza that's getting in the way of the signal there. Just kidding.
I have all this.
It doesn't sound like you paid the $5 to upgrade to the Wi-Fi, is what it sounds like. Anyway. So all right. So Lance, I guess.
I didn't. I got all this.
All right, let's shit.
I heard you've got me, Scotty.
Yeah, while I've got you on here, what's something that you've been enjoying, I guess, lately?
What I've really been enjoying, we just picked up last week Blue Run 14, which is phenomenal. And then today I actually found the New Riff Malted Rye, which is also really, really good. But Blue Run 14 is fantastic if you guys can find it.
I just did some like note taking and stuff on it the other day. It's an extremely like rich and complex like bourbon, and one of those things where you actually have to almost sit down with that thing for probably a good 45 minutes just to see what it's going to do. Because if you review that thing too quickly, you're not doing it any justice. So, but
yeah, I agree 100%. It's like the fruit notes in it are just fantastic. It's really well balanced. You know, not super high proof. I love everything about it.
Yeah. Well, like Marcus was saying before, the bourbon judge, he was talking about, you know, his thing being 1792. We know Blue Run's more than likely sourcing from Barton, but that's the extent. That's their older stuff. I mean, that's really where they're starting to really shine with what it is that they have to offer. So
yeah, and that 1792 always gives me like the fruit salad cans kind of syrupy kind of taste, and you definitely get that in Blue Run.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. So, all right. So let's see. I think, did we cover everybody? All right. So I know.
Scott, what about you? What's one bottle that, you know, you thought you were going to end up maybe loving it, and you're like, it's just kind of so. What's up at bat for you, Scott?
You know, like I guess from like a negative standpoint, you know, I try to kind of stay away from that part of it. I guess what I try to do with a lot of whiskeys on my part is just more kind of appreciate it for what it is. It may not be my thing, and you know, that's where I kind of struggle to do some of these reviews where you have to be careful with what it is you say, because, you know, we all know, like, you know, if we don't really like it, there are other people out there who may really enjoy it. So you don't want to go down that road of of just trying to, be super, super negative. So I try to be like very like open-minded and a little bit subjective as to what it is I'm doing reviews of. So, I know some of the craft stuff can be a little bit different because people's, baseline is, Kentucky or MGP or whatever it may be. So you've got to get past those profiles. But I think for me, really what it's kind of helped me do is understand like what maybe a more like grain forward whiskey may be. It's, so here's a good example is that I think a lot of people may not like Spirits of French Lick because it's very grain forward, meaning his intention in distillation is to bring forward the grain of what it is that he's doing. So it's by design. So when you understand what that is and why he's doing it, you start to appreciate it and then maybe tasted it in other products that are on the younger side. But what he's doing, what Alan Bishop is doing is kind of crazy. And he's really bringing out those interesting, like just different grain notes and to be able to do them like, singular is even more impressive. So I guess to answer your question, I try to not go down the road of like it's bad or good or anything like that. But I guess I'm trying to think of anything like for me lately that I haven't really liked like that much where I would, man, I don't know. That's a really tough question. Now, what I will say is one that I was pleasantly surprised was the Maker's 46 cask strength. I had really no idea outside of just the regular, Maker's 46. But I mean, when I tried it, even right off of the neck pour, I was really happy with what the profile was, and I was hoping it would get even a little bit better. And I think it really kind of has over the course of maybe the last 3 weeks or month since I've had it. But it was kind of one of those ones that jumped up and made me kind of think like, all right, Makers, I see what you're doing here.
Yep. No, I agree with it. That's a good point. Yeah, I think Stuff and Whiskey said that also. And it's kind of funny. I think, when I think back to like Makers, I think, for years it was just so. And then with all like the limited releases and the 46 and the 46 cask strength is like, I've become like a huge fan of Makers. So now I think that's spot on for sure.
Well, like Lance mentioned before, like what Blue Run's doing. Now, here's one of the things I'll say, like in my video when I recorded, I haven't edited it yet, but and Lance can probably attest to this.
Yes, the double.
If this bourbon was in a bottle that everybody knew, people would go ape shit about it and have no problem paying $200 for it. You throw this 14-year-old bottle in a Blue Run bottle, and now people have a little bit more of an issue. Until you taste that or their single barrels, man, I'll tell you, they are doing some damn good work picking these barrels and doing these blendings. So I would say if you're gonna pay $200 for a bottle, I'd have no problem paying $200 for that bottle whatsoever. It's that good.
Oh, that's
yeah, agree 100%.
And not to go too heavy on the Maker's Love Fest, but I think one of the things that we really like to focus on our channel is just the subjective experience of whiskey. And I also would just like to say that while we're kind of giving, Makers in 1792 some praise, which I don't think there's any issue with 1792, but Makers specifically, even though whiskey is a very subjective experience, I'm going to address the chat for just a second here and say that we're all wrong very clearly because the world's top whiskey taster is in the chat and he does not like Makers. So we are off base. I see you, Matt. I see you in the chat. And that's all right. You don't have to like Makers.
What the hell does he
love you?
Who's this Matt guy you mentioned, by the way? I'm just not following along. I'm just not following.
Somebody named I think I messaged. I think it's Pat Mortar.
That's what it is. I know.
He's like the world's greatest whiskey good taster guy.
Yeah, Pat. She's an awesome dude. I really I really
Pat
like
Mortar. Pat Mortar. Quality, grade A people there.
No, and again, I mean that's just the extension of this community is that it allows all of us to again have our own personality, still have fun. It's all a bunch of like great men and women, and that's the best part of it. I mean, it's just another extension, and it allows all of us to have a good time and have something in common and just kind of shoot the shit and all of that. So that's the one thing I've really appreciated is that it's just overall a great community. Even the people that I've not met that we all see in the chat or in the comments, you kind of feel like a lot of these people just from the interaction with all of them. So it's been awesome. So.
Oh yeah.
I think Richie spelled that wrong. I think it should be Pat. I think is what it is. Richie spelled that wrong. Must be the autocorrect. But anyway. Pat Mortar.
I'm sorry, Matt.
if there's anybody who knows how to take it and give it out, it's Pat.
Pat knows how to take it.
Think, yeah,
duly noted.
He's gonna be just fine. He can dish it out and take it. That's for sure. So, but, all right. So that was a good point. So straight up bourbon. What's been something disappointing for you guys?
And
the barrel fill process for Bardstown.
The one-off Pfeiffer.
The Pfeiffer was excellent in our opinion, but the XO was, very disappointing.
And it's not. I can't say it's objectively bad because no one can say that, but this one was like over $200, and the regular one was I think like $120, $130.
Yeah,
and it just the extra aging they did to it really didn't do it any favors in our opinion. So as far as like it being an exclusive and going and getting it and paying that premium price for it, and then the one that's on the shelf everywhere was beat it out, was kind of disappointing. Like that was a big letdown for us. But
are you guys typically fans of what Bardstown Bourbon Company does?
Yeah, we like a lot of their stuff.
Most of the time.
We didn't care for the 2021 Prisoner release either, but
I know sometimes people get a little judgy with like the Fusion series, and I know it's like one of those deals where it's like old and young blended together, and that can go both ways. And you could tell like when I did the Fusion 5, I think is what it was, but it was kind of that way where you got a little bit of the old, but a lot of the youthful characteristics of that blend. But so
did you guys see these pop up anywhere? It's like a taster kit for Bardstown.
No.
No.
They had them in the gift shop, right?
I'm sorry?
They had them in the gift shop, right?
I just got this at some liquor store in
I've not seen them in a store.
Oh, wow, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's their distillate, like just their white dog, and then their 3-year by itself, and then the Fusion 4. So you can like taste like each step of the way. And we're really interested to get into that.
Yeah, we hadn't opened it yet, but I've seen people online posting about how they found it in liquor stores and stuff. So,
well, and I know like kind of like talking about like some of that stuff and barrel picks and all that, but like I think one of the new things that may start to become a little bit more of a popular thing are people doing far more blends, like their own type of blends, things along those lines. I mean, if you want to talk about, being very, very creative, doing your own blend or whatever it may be, that's a very fun, interesting experience. And it can be, I think one of those things where you get people involved and with all of the different, flavor profiles that there may be, it really allows for people to craft something that can be very different and unique. So that'll be kind of a fun thing to see if blended or just crafted type of whiskeys, outside of just single barrels, that now doing your own custom blend becomes a little bit more of a popular thing. We may have a little something in the works regarding that, but
cool.
That's all I can say about that. Personally, but it's a fun thing, and I think there's a lot more, whiskey companies that are starting to get on board with kind of offering up some of that stuff. But it's a really fun experience. So, and it's good. It's good for husbands, wives, all that, because now you can agree, disagree on whether you like something or you don't like it or whatever it may be, and it allows you to customize whatever it is you want to do. So I think it's just a fun overall experience with that part of it. So
it's a date night in a box.
That is it. It's no. I gotta keep this PG. I almost went down a bad road there. I caught myself. The inner smart ass of me was about ready to just. Aaron was kind of like the bowling pin. She set him up. I was about ready to knock him down.
I do that quite often, actually. You just don't know me that good yet.
I will. We'll save that one for next time. But anyway.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me go back to the chat here. So,
Scott,
yeah.
Okay. Let me. Your Bucks gonna pull it out tonight?
Say that again.
Do you think your Bucks are gonna pull it out tonight with the Greek Freak out? What's going on there?
I don't know. As of an hour ago, he was still questionable. I hadn't seen that he had been ruled out, but I don't know if he's. If anybody can give me an update on whether or not Giannis is in or out tonight, I would greatly appreciate it, because the game is about ready to start. But
Giannis is playing.
He is playing.
Yep.
All right, so that changes things a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. So I don't know.
That's good stuff.
So all right, let me ask you this. So I guess regarding each of your channels, what do you guys kind of have? What do each of you have kind of coming up, or anything that you're doing a little bit different? Anything you want to share?
Yeah, I'll start off. Kind of funny you mentioned about the whole well, not couple in this instance, but if you ever watch the channel, you'll see a lot of times I have my cousin on, cousin Anita. We have a really cool vibe. So my goal is to get her back on pretty soon. So be on the lookout for cousin Anita joining very soon. She's a riot for sure.
Bourbon Judge, the people need regular cousin Anita installment. You got to give the people what they want, man.
Indeed, no doubt, for sure.
That's just how it goes. Well, and it's fun to be able to work off of somebody else and their personality and all of that. It can make for a long day of editing, that's for sure, when you've got that kind of stuff. But so solo act, you can kind of edit yourself out. But man, those other things, I could only imagine if Erin had to do the editing, the amount of editing she'd have to do on Josh. Oh my God, it'd be unbelievable.
You're not kidding. This man knows his way around a conversation.
I think a wise man once said, why say in a few words what you could say in many words? And somewhere along the line, I picked that up. And boy, I really ran with it.
I hear you. Problem. I hear you. I can be very long-winded at times as well, so I know exactly what that's like. So I still don't understand when my wife says, "Will you just shut up?" I still don't quite understand what exactly that means, but it'll take a little bit of time to figure that part out. So.
Well, speaking of what's coming up on our channels, so we are actively working on parsing down our episodes to be a little bit shorter in length. It's weird because when I watch videos, if I'm not bought into the channel, I want it to be as short as possible. But then once I'm bought into the channel, I want it to be longer, because I'm not gonna let's not make it weird here, okay? But Scott, I've watched you while I'm in the shower, okay? It's not weird, man. I'm just enjoying it. And let me tell you, when you have soapy hands and you have to switch to the next video because the last one was only 5 minutes long, I need some more length.
Beautiful. Whoa.
All right.
Beautiful shower worth of content.
I'm just gonna
get me through a shower. Get me through a short cardio workout
right now. I'm gonna help Josh out right now. We'll take care of the old. It got a little weird right there. We'll give him a second or two. We'll give him a second or two to collect his thoughts or whatever there. So that was more. I think that had a little bit to do with just thinking more out loud than anything. So, but. No, so Now that's one. Now that I would say that's one I've not done is watching YouTube video while taking a shower. I have separated my social media skills and all that stuff from the shower time, but hey, to each their own. To each their own. So good on you.
If you're watching our channel ever and we do these live streams, like I do not multitask well, so I gotta multitask where I can, and watching things in somewhat seemingly precarious positions might be one of those avenues.
Just stop.
Nonetheless,
I mean, I guess thank you. So,
but talking about channel content coming up, we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing because that's what we would do if the camera was off. Yeah. So
we are going to try to do more live streams though.
Yeah, we are going to do more live streams.
Yeah.
Hats off to you guys that do this on a week-to-week basis. Like, it is such a time commitment. My job schedule just does not allow for that. So we're going to try to do one a month, and it's a ton of fun so far. Like, we went on to test equipment for the first time a few weeks back and had people show up in chat
for like an hour and a half. We were going to be like 5 minutes, and it was like an hour and a half live stream.
Yeah, couldn't believe it.
It was fun.
The community here is so awesome. Yeah. And like I said, it was a big catalyst for us even getting involved. It's other than that, we're just going to keep on plugging along and keep on having fun.
Well, you guys are doing a good job. So, I mean, everybody in here tonight is doing a great job. Everyone's got their own lane, and that's the best part about it. I mean, it's just have fun, and you can tell. I mean, everybody's got great attitudes, and I mean, that's the best part about it, and really kind of getting to meet other people and just kind of chat a little bit. That's kind of where it kind of hits home for me with a lot of those things. So I really enjoy doing these kind of things. So. All right, Straight Up Bourbon, what do you guys have? What do you have coming up?
All right, so we're going to be doing our first live stream on our channel either this week or early next week. And then we're also working on, it's a pretty big blind mini series that we've been working on where we pick 12 distilleries with 3 different price points within those distilleries and then blind them like per price point. And I won't know what we drink until it's completely done and I edit it. So like we're going in not knowing the distilleries or what we're drinking.
We know what's in the whole thing, but not like what beats out what and what progresses through until the end. So it's been a couple weeks working on that, but I think it should be pretty fun. It's been fun going throughout and doing it, but I think the end product will be pretty good. So I'm really excited to do this live stream too.
Yeah, I mean, the live streaming part is just where, I mean, I think it's a big part just to, maintain or to continue to connect with the community, like
exactly.
That part where it's important to kind of do that stuff, just to kind of almost show, like, I don't want to say like support to the people who watch your videos, but again, it allows you to become like personal, connect with a lot of these people and have a good time. I mean, we see a lot of the same people, in here all the time. And these guys and ladies, they will all show up for your live streams. I mean, they want to be, invested. And if you guys give the time, they're going to reciprocate and be there to support you guys. So for anyone doing live streams, I mean, I think it was the best thing. It was the first time you press that go live button. It is the most nerve-wracking thing like ever. Like it's a really tough thing, and it's still a little bit like kind of awkward. I mean, I'm just like staring at a camera, like blabbing away and all of that. But especially when it's just myself. I mean, I talk to myself quite often, but not always on camera. But all right, good. I'm glad someone laughed at that. I'm glad someone laughed a little bit. But all right, so that'll be good. I mean, you guys are doing like collectively those blinds, and again, it's the truest way to understand what it is you'll like without the label bias. Period. So good on you for that. So, Lance, what do you have coming up, bud?
Just a couple more like vlog style videos, which I just did. I did one recently on our latest barrel pick to Wilderness Trail and to Starlight Distillery, which both were fantastic, awesome picks. And then I might do one from this weekend. We're at Elijah Craig and then Lux Row tomorrow. More live streams. You know, my kids I'm almost an empty nester. So as my kids get a little older and I have more free time, I can do more live streams. But right now I'm just trying to keep a good family work balance going on. So I can't get on as much as I'd love to with all you guys. But I try to hop in your live streams when I can and say, hey, but I just don't have a ton of time to do that, running a gym and doing Whiskey Tube and trying to keep up with my 16 and 18-year-old daughters. So hopefully that all slows down soon and I can do a lot more live streams and hop on with you guys a lot more.
Cool. Yeah, I did like that kind of like that vlog or that blog style. And I think those are always fun to see the behind the scenes and interactive parts of like just being at a distillery or whatever it may be. So those are always fun to do.
Yeah, it's just so, as you know, it's so much work.
Yeah.
That 7-minute vlog probably took 12 to 14 hours of editing. So, but I love doing that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Well, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna head over and give that a little thumbs down. So only 12 hours of editing, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Yeah. I would say that is one thing that does kind of like get under my skin a little bit. Is once in a while when you get like a thumbs down, and it's only from a standpoint like I can give two shits if you like me or not. Like that's fine, but it's like sometimes I look at it like, and I even see like on other people's videos. Here's what I'll say: it makes me probably more angry when I see other people's videos with thumbs down. I'm like, sons of bitches! Like you guys have no idea how much time and effort went into them who did that video and edited it and everything. For you to just take a little quick little thumbs down click, and it's. Anyway, yeah. I don't want to go down that path, but it annoys the shit out of me more for you guys and other people than for me. But anyway,
yeah, you have to love it for sure, and then to be on YouTube. And I learned this in my fitness journey when my transformation video went viral. It had like 2 million views, so all the people contacting me, it was ridiculous. But you really have to learn to have tough skin and just just have fun and know there's gonna be people that aren't gonna like you, and that's okay. Yeah. No big deal. Yeah, there's plenty of other channels they can go to. So
yeah. No, I would agree. Like that first time you get like the negative comment or like a thumbs down, you're just like, sitting in the corner crying in your hands or whatever it may be. It's just like, nobody likes me, no one likes me or whatever. And then you just realize you're like, fuck it, who cares?
Exactly.
So
that's really how it goes. Like, I don't think we have a single video that's ever gotten posted that hasn't gotten at least 1 or 2 thumbs down.
The first 4 videos, somebody went in and just went thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down
on everyone. And I'm like, I'm a big fan. People talk about our chemistry, and that's great. But like, I'm a big fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart's chemistry together. Mm-hmm. And they have talked about how like people who are doing things don't have time to criticize other people. So I don't really worry about any of the negativity. We did have to shut down one person that kind of came at Aaron for giving something a bad score. And I had to step in and just be like, hey, man, this isn't that channel. There's other places for that. But, like, she just didn't like it. That's fine. Like, everybody has their own taste, and it's not a big deal. Yeah. But, I think, Lance, you and I have had this conversation before. It's like, you say you don't like broccoli and somebody – like nobody bats an eye, but you say you don't like a certain whiskey and people just lose their absolute minds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
You'll have the people too that hit the thumbs down before watching anything of the video. They just go through. That's just what they do.
Yeah.
Personally, if I don't like a video, I just don't hit anything. If I like it, I'll thumbs up it. But just because I know there is a lot that goes into making videos and all that. But so the best thing to do is just to let it, to an extent, just kind of let it pass by and just let it be.
Yeah. I apologize for all the thumbs downs, you guys. So I apologize.
Yeah, but
it is. I mean, that's the one thing. Like all of you guys have said, I mean, I could honestly care less about all of that. It's the amount of time and effort that goes into creating everything that for somebody to be able to just like thumbs down it. It's like, all right, I wish you could like say a little bit more. Like you'd have to explain yourself or something, but whatever. It is what it is.
Right.
Like Tim said, you gotta develop pretty thick skin really quickly in this thing, or you'll just get washed up in the whole deal. But
Yeah.
Well, no matter what, kudos to all of you guys for just being brave enough to put yourself out there.
Yep.
I mean, it takes some. It definitely does take something. Like we could not have done this, or I'm only going to speak for myself here. I could not have done this 10 years ago when I was in my late 20s.
Yeah.
Like it would have messed me up way too much. I don't give a rip about what anybody thinks now, so I'm fine just being me on camera. But back then, you can't come into this with a thin skin and expect to come out unscathed.
No. And I think there's been enough. I think there's been enough people now that have done it that you can kind of like see through some things and see how the whole YouTube thing is set up, that you kind of start to understand that you're just not going to have a video, or all your videos just are not going to all be liked. That's just the way it is. I mean, there's just people who there's always the keyboard warrior who gets off on the thumbs down or the negative comment or whatever it may be, and in whatever it is what it is. Like Kira, like I love Kira. Her husband Dave, that guy, he's questionable. So whatever. Thumbs down.
But it's also a testament to the Whiskey Tube community. Like, there is so little negativity in this community compared to so many other. Like, if my only experience in the whiskey world as a hobbyist was participating in Facebook groups, I would probably just drive my car off the bridge. Like, there's so much negativity, and that just it's so minimal in the Whiskey Tube community. Everybody's so loving and encouraging and supporting.
Yep.
It's amazing, and I honestly and I'm not just necessarily trying to kiss your butt here, Scott. We're going in a really weird direction with the shower thing like 10 minutes ago, and then this, but I think it's a testament to the groundwork that you guys have laid in years past. And, again, hats off to you guys for that. Like, it's something else.
Shit, man. I knew I was a little bit old, but now I feel like I'm ready to sit back in the old rocking chair and remember those days when I used to do those videos.
No, look at it like a cool way, Scott.
I get it.
You and Jason are like the OGs for the whiskey.
You guys are just we're like so like we go way back to like 2017, 18. We're like the Dusties of the whiskey.
It's like technology. 5 years and you're already like your OG.
So here's like something kind of like funny. Like you guys invest like a lot of time like editing and stuff. I literally record and edit everything I do right from my phone.
I dig it.
Impressive.
If I could get Josh to do that, I would, but he wouldn't do it.
I don't.
That's awesome.
Do it.
Right now, I don't do any recording like off of a DSLR, any of that. Now, again, I don't have like where all the guys that do all the fancy B-roll and all of that. That's great. It looks fantastic. But like all of mine, I shoot it, edit it right off of my phone. Period. I don't ever do anything on a laptop ever.
Wow.
That's what I do too, Scott.
Yep. Well, thanks, Lance. Thanks for really ruining my whole thing here. I thought
that's not how I meant it.
So much for this one. This just went to hell in a handbasket quickly.
I apologize. I've been drinking bourbon all day. I can't myself.
Lance is on that iPhone 47.
Hey, you guys just carry the rest of the stream. Have a good night, okay?
Hey, Lance, what do you think of that Parker's?
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
We really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, we got we found some Parkers. What is the other one we found? Orange today, and it's a Weller 107 pick, a foolproof pick, some Blue Run. We hit the jackpot today.
What
had a good day.
What did the blue run the 14-year? What did that set you back? 200.
200. Yeah. It's worth it.
It is worth it. It's a really good bourbon.
When's your review coming out, Scott?
I don't know. Whenever I can edit from my phone, like, and be like, everybody,
You can just do it in a shower.
I could, yeah. Jesus,
So
I was almost gonna ask Josh for some help, but that would have really gotten weird.
Let me just say, look, it's number one, it's the best place to get some things done, and number two, you just got to use your creativity.
That's true. That is true. All right. On that note of shower editing videos and stuff, I guess. All right, here. So let me say this. I mean, to each of you, you guys, all do an incredible job. You all have your own lane. I mean, I appreciate what it is you guys, what you all do from an individual standpoint, the quality of your content, all of those stuff. So just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. I think it's really resonating with a lot of other people. It's good stuff. It's quality stuff. So just keep doing everything that you guys are doing. It's spot on. So kudos to you.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Cheers
thank
to
you.
that.
Thanks for having us all on, Scott.
Yeah, back at you, brother.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Well, I mean, this is one of the things that I've said to myself a long time ago. Once I kind of figured out the live streaming part, was just to have more people on, and it has nothing to do with being larger than anyone. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's just being able to kind of spread the love and have a good time and make other people more aware of other things going on. So anything I can do that remotely helps anybody, I'm all for that. So thanks for coming on. I greatly appreciate that. So all right, so next Tuesday, no live stream. I'll actually be down in Kentucky for really pretty much all of next week and weekend. I'll be doing a little father-son thing. So that's something my dad and I do every year. So that'll be a good time. So
Awesome.
We get a couple of quick little plugs. If anybody wants or is interested in becoming part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, again, somebody mentioned this Jason guy before. I loosely know him a little bit. We collectively do some barrel picks and all of these things. Woodinville is actually coming out tomorrow, the Maverick and Iceman. So we got Maverick versus Iceman picks coming. So that's a fun thing. It's become a really good fun outlet for Jason and I to be able to, I guess, kind of share what it is that he and I do with other people, part of the Patreon community. If for some reason you're not part of the Patreon community and you want to, there'll be a link in the description of this video. So it just gets you, it like a lot of you guys, it's channel support, and it helps us to continue doing things that we're doing. So thanks for all the support on that. So, all right, enough of that. So everybody, thank you so much for joining tonight. Everybody in the chat, greatly appreciate you guys hanging out with all of us tonight. If you haven't, yet, subscribe to all these guys. Before I get off, why don't you each just kind of tell everybody where they can find you and kind of some of your social media places, and they can follow you guys there.
You can find us on YouTube at Straight Up Bourbon. That's our logo. So just find that one, click it, subscribe. We have an Instagram at straight_up_bourbon. And we have a Facebook community. It's just Straight Up Bourbon as well. So, and we greatly, again, thank you for having us on, and we greatly appreciate the support from everybody.
For sure.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
You got it.
You can find me at the Bourbon Judge on Instagram as well as YouTube, and then also my website also as well, thebourbonjudge.com. And again, shout out to you, Scott. Thanks so much, man, for having us all on. We really appreciate it.
You got it. You got it. Josh, Aaron?
So, as I said earlier in the stream, kind of about a year ago, we somewhat pulled the plug on social media. We do check in on Instagram and post stuff there. But
at Stuff and Whiskey.
At Stuff and Whiskey, yeah, I forgot to plug ourselves here.
And then YouTube.
But YouTube's our primary thing, and while we are a young channel yet, we are building our Patreon type stuff up, and we're hoping to build that into its own little community as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our place, just because the social medias, we struggle with that. So
Yeah.
you know, we're us darn millennials, like we're the worst. But anyways, our YouTube channel's pretty much where it's at. And like I said, we're going to be live streaming hopefully about once a month, first or second Monday of every month. We'll fit that in around the 7 o'clock hour right here. So
cool. Lance, what about you?
You can find me at the Whiskey Tornado on YouTube. I think I'm like 18 subs away from 2,000 now. So if you're if you're into the channel and you like it, go sub. I'm kind of like Josh and Aaron. I don't do a whole lot of the social media stuff just because I don't know. There's too many assholes.
Yeah, there are.
I keep the page. I have a Patreon page, but I honestly like it kind of small, so I'm not gonna push all that stuff. But if you like the YouTube stuff, go subscribe. I'm also on Instagram, but that's about it. Otherwise, I'm in Scott's Patreon and Jason's Patreon. I've supported their channels for a long time because they're just great dudes that have given bourbon reviews forever and kind of laid the foundation for this community. So. Love them and love all these new channels. You guys are awesome. So cheers to everybody.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Everybody in the chat. Not next Tuesday, but the following we'll be on. Didn't even touch base on these guys. This is Found North Whiskey, so I'm hoping to have them on. Not again next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. Really kind of interesting, cool stuff. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what it is that they're doing. I'll leave it at that. So, all right, guys, thanks everybody for joining tonight. Everybody in the chat, appreciate it as always. And we will see you in either 2 weeks or 2 years, whatever one comes first. So, cheers, guys. We'll talk to you later. See you guys.
See you guys.